Oh, good God. Why did I order so many boxes from Amazon, and why did they all have to turn up at the same time? I'll tell you what, I can't be bothered to unbox all of these on camera for you, so what I'm going to do, through the magic of editing, we have everything unpacked and kind of repacked a bit. Actually, to be brutally honest, I've reshot this particular segment. This is an entirely reshot segment. I wasn't happy with the quality of the other footage that I shot. It went on for far too long, it was far too rambling, and it was just terrible. It did not do what I wanted it to do. So, it's all photography gear. The bag is meant to hold photography stuff. So, what better way than to actually show you basically some of the gear I've already got, some of the new gear I've got, in some of the gear I've just got. Right, so the bag is by Flyleaf. It wasn't actually the bag I intended to buy. There were two different bags I wanted to... Well, that basically came down to two different bags that I saw in the shop. One has a similar security feature to this, but unfortunately the display model was the only model left in the shop that I saw it at, and it was damaged. Somebody had been rather heavy-handed with it. The other bag was a bit cheaper than that first bag, but didn't have quite the same security feature. So I went online to Amazon and I found this, which seemed to combine the cheapness of the second bag with the security features of the first. And just to show you the kind of thing it's got here, this section here, I've just basically put my photography vest, a book that I can write in if I need to do so. Quite a snug fit. There we go, they're out. And you can see there's lots of little other bag bits here. There's no baggage here, but there are sections here to put stuff. You've got to put a couple of pens or pencils in here, for example. You've got this strappy Velcro bit here to keep that stuff in. And it's all nice and secure, and obviously adds just a bit more padding. I'm not going to put this back in there for the time being. I'll put that back in some of the time when we're finished doing this recording. And when I say we, I mean, of course, me, because it's just the one of me doing all of this. It's a one-man show, quite literally. That's not ego, that's just a fact. We also have over here what's basically a mesh bag here. You could have a water bottle in there, but for the most part, you're probably going to be making use of this section for tripod and monopod type carrying. There's straps here, which I've basically looped around this section here just in case they come loose or something, because given the proximity they're a bit close together, but you can't tighten them up. But if they do come loose, then obviously it'll hang on this bit here, on this little rope that holds everything together for the tripod rather, in the bag itself. You do have this little pocket bit here, which is more meant for when you have the tripod itself out of the bag, and it just sort of, the feet rest in there, for example. Kind of works. There's this Velcro bit here that doesn't seem to really have any practical purpose here, but you know, when it's not being used, it does stay there quite nicely. But of course, having all of this here means you can't use this for storing water like what I assume it's meant for. You've got, bizarrely, this section here has a little section here that you could presumably put something in, and there are more straps here, but just one. There is an area here that is identical to what's on the other side where you could have another strap put in. So in theory you could have something else strapped along here as well. But, you know, it seems a bit pointless because there's nothing to help stop things from, you know, coming loose around there. You do have this little strap here, and there's another one on the other side. You know, they could have some options for dangling things off. One thing I do like around here though is that you've got these zips here which open up onto the inside, and you can get in and out here. There's also memory card type little bags here. Don't think I would personally use those for memory card storage, because I've got this little box here for storing memory cards in quite safely. You know, I'll stick to doing that. But this does give you a nice, quick, easy access. So if you've got something that you want to use on a regular basis, or some specialist kit that you know, might benefit from being able to get at quite quickly, then yeah, you've got that option right there. And just for a bit of OCD, I'm just going to do that. At the bottom of the bag we have some feet, some grip sections here, which do a very nice job of, when you've got it actually standing upright, making sure it doesn't actually go anywhere, giving it a nice bit of stability. If we take it onto the back itself, can see all these orange sections here, which basically provide a bit of padding for your back, quite a good bit of comfortable padding as well. And then you've got these sections here, which are basically just to provide some additional support. We've got some more straps here to help keep it around your waist, stop it from going anywhere. You've got little mesh pockets here, which you can keep little things in. You know, it could be things like little cleaning cloths and so on. Basically anything you can keep your mind of. You've got adjustable straps here, which work quite well. And you've got, of course, another strap here just to keep things a bit comfortable across your chest. You can adjust this a little bit, but not much. It's more sort of stretchy material than anything else. I've got it on the widest setting you can get it on, and even across my chest, kind of, you know, chest measurement wise, I'm probably about 40 inches. It's a bit tight on me, so if you've got a bigger chest than 40 inches, you're probably going to be feeling it a bit if you've got this on, but you don't need to have it on. It's just there as extra security. More straps, more attachment sections here for other things to dangle off. That's obviously quite good. And now here's the main beauty of this, the main security feature. I should also mention that this, according to the instructions, acts as a heat dispersal system, and it works quite well because, well, I've had this on my back even though you've got all the weight on. First of all, the weight itself, you do notice it, but it's so well distributed that it's not encumbersome to you. Obviously, if you go up and down a flight of stairs or something like that, you will notice that you'll be puffing a bit. But the heat dispersal system that it got on, I have not once had any kind of sweaty back when I've been having this on, despite what else I might actually be wearing at the time. But this is the pièce de résistance. You have the security of the main bulk of your equipment only being accessible by taking it off and unzipping it like this. If you've got it the other way around, if these sort of zips were on the other side, if somebody was feeling vindictive and they decided to unzip your bag from the back, all of your stuff could fall out, potentially, or somebody could steal things from you, with you obviously not being any the wiser. This makes that impossible because the only way anybody's going to get in here is if it's actually off your back, so obviously they'd have to do something else altogether, which we're not going to get into, are we? Alright, we've got this little fly mesh bit here, which the mesh material basically helps keep the weightage down a bit and still does the job. And we've got a whole load of different equipment that I've got here. We've got all these sections here can be taken out and reconfigured any which way you like. Let's just move it forward a bit more. We've got this little bag here which can also be taken out and put any way you like, and there's all kinds of stuff in here that I've got. I've put cleaning cloths and whatnot in there. And we have this section here which is at the top. I put some equipment in here. We've got two bags here, we've got mesh stuff here and here. These are two separate pouches. I have basically been keeping the memory cards in there like so, and the padding basically goes all the way around everything. Everything is nicely padded. It's very, very good. It feels very secure. Now onto the equipment that I otherwise got myself. First of all, I got me this camera hood lens, which is meant for a telephoto lens like this. Now, in the original footage that I shot, I didn't actually have this with me at the time, so I couldn't really hook it on and demonstrate what it would look like, but that does a very good job of keeping too much light out. Okay, now I actually normally have at least one little lens filter type thing on top, basically for protection. If you know this was to drop and so on, then it would be the temporary filter lens itself that gets damaged rather than the proper lens. When you've got those screwed on its place, it does make this a little bit more difficult to get on and off, but you know, say what it be. I'll just do something I did on the original cut, which was to basically demonstrate why you don't use this with a shorter lens, because you get all of this black lineage here. Of course, that could be used creatively for things like peephole type stuff, you know, whatever you might think of. And to store it away more easily, you just do this, and it works quite nicely. I've taken a few test shots like so, and you can twist it like that for a little bit more security. I've taken a few test shots, and it does work quite nicely. I've got a few selections of different lens hoods that are meant for this kind of lens, and at this kind of footage, at this kind of angle and so on and so forth, it doesn't work that well, but yeah, there was always a trade-off. Now these basically came with these particular filters here, which are something I've already looked at separately. I don't think I ever actually put the footage up. I think I might have lost that particular footage. But these are basically various filtered lenses. They're not part of what I just bought, that's a spare lens, but it's basically this sort of thing here. You've got various different lenses. I think this is 2 different lenses stuck together quite well. I can't actually undo them at the moment. I'll deal with that some other time, but basically I bought myself all of these different lenses. Some of them work better than the others, but one of the problems I noticed with them was that when it comes to the gradiented ones, as you might be able to see here, you can see one colour on one side, one colour on the other, because there's 2 different lenses. Okay, when you're actually putting these on the lens itself, they sometimes get a bit hidden by the colour of the lens itself. The colour of the lens that's on the actual camera itself at the time kind of makes it harder to see these with the naked eye. So one thing I thought about was to get basically one of these. And this is basically something that you screw onto the front of the camera itself, and you've got all these slots to put much larger, more traditional plastic ND filters and so on. And you're going to get the gradiented versions as well. And I think they work a bit better overall in that you can make sure that what you're looking at, well, what you're looking through, what you're using at the time, is actually positioned more easily. When you use these ones, it's a bit easy to lose them. It's not that they don't have their uses, it's just if you try stacking them together like that, it becomes very difficult to actually make out what's what. Now, you've basically got 2 different options here. Either one of them can be screwed onto an adapter ring, like one of these. Okay, I've got 2 of these for different lenses that I don't have with me. You get a whole load of them with the kit, so you're going to be spoilt for choice. And you just put those on, and then you put this on as a little hood to just block out more light, and then you can slot on this one up to 3 of them, and on this one you can slot up to just 1. Now I've done a little experiment and some on as well, and it's a bit fiddly to do. You can do it. It's just a question of, are you supposed to? It's very difficult to get it on, and it's very difficult to get it off in that kind of regard. I don't think you're supposed to do it, but you've got all these options that basically suggest that you can. You see all these different connection bits? Okay, it's exactly the same sort of connectors that you get in both cases. And I kind of suggest that if you wanted to add one more filter that you could, and I have managed it once, but once you've got this on and then you try to put the other filter in, getting that other filter out is damn near impossible because of the amount of pressure it's on, and trying to get this off while that filter is in also makes it damn near impossible to take this out of the housing here. Yeah, that's just from some testing here. So, and these are the actual kind of filters that you can get for this, so you're just literally slotting them in place and then they're changing the colours. You can sort of see how if I just do that as is. Okay, so I'll just leave that like that and then bring this up here. You can just see how it changes the colours of everything. No photoshopping required, you just do that instead. And there's 4 different packs because there's 4 different versions. There's some gradiented ones which I might be able to pull out by sheer chance here. Yep, you can see it like that. If I do this, how some of it is darker and some of it's pretty much the same colour. See, I'm just moving it up and down, and I quite like that. I quite like that play around factor. It's you know, if I was just taking a static shot, no long exposure type stuff, then this would work quite well. Just holding the filters up in front of the lens would work quite nicely. But if I wanted to take a long exposure shot like this, but the ones that are basically all the same colour all the way through are definitely your choice. You know, there we go, it's right here. This has to be it. This has to be it because they're right where I left them. See how dark it gets there? Eventually the lens, you know, the lens is so dark that the camera's automatic settings have to kick in to try to compensate. And if you're doing long exposure stuff, see how everything gets so much brighter, so much faster when to take it away? If you do long exposure stuff, then you need this sort of filter to allow you to take daytime shots, because otherwise you're just going to get a bright white ring of death. So yeah, that is basically it. That is all the photography here that I already have so far. the other stuff that I bought as well, and it all works quite nicely. You know, the one thing I haven't done, I've just realised this, while I've basically shown you all of this stuff right here that's in the bag, and I've sort of hinted at this tripod. The tripod was part of the equipment that I bought as well, and sort of hanging around here. I just try awkwardly to unhook it, and I haven't actually demonstrated that for you, so I'm just going to clear this off. So this is a Manfrotto, and I again saw this in the same shop I saw the other two bags in, and the model that I saw in the shop I fell in love with because of this kind of hand unit here, this pistol-like grip. You've got this little trigger device here which basically keeps everything locked up in place here, and you've got this little latch to hook everything onto. You've got 3 legs, of course. It's a tripod, so of course it's going to have 3 legs. And you see how stiff and so on it is at this point? If I release this wheel, it becomes a lot freer in motion. Notice that there's nothing in here as yet. I'll come back to that in a minute or so. But once I start tightening this up, then it becomes a lot more difficult to move. There's still a little bit of give here. Obviously, I'm moving it with my hand, and you know, just ever so slightly. But this idea of the locking mechanism basically means that when you have your camera in, then it's not going to go anywhere. It's strong enough to stop the camera from moving around. Now you also got this section here which allows you to move things around a little bit more on the top, like so, and then tell you what, let's just loosen this up a bit more, and then you've got the option to basically put it into landscape mode like so, and you can still angle around a good deal and so on and so forth, and again tighten it up so that it's basically doing what you want it to do. Okay, now the beauty of this kind of grip is that you've only got the one thing to manipulate, the pistol grip itself, and you can lock everything up in place with this wheel once you're happy that everything's where you want it. The other tripods that I have that are meant for cameras specifically have at least one arm that you use to move things around, and then several different keys to tighten things in place, whereas this one just has the one. What I found is the problem with the others is that because you've got so many different features there, you might get it just in the right position and then start tightening things up, and then you've lost the position. This kind of prevents that from happening. Now, the model that I saw in the shop felt a lot more stable than this did initially. I think it just takes a little bit of time for it to be, you know, for it to actually tighten up naturally, I suppose is the right word for it. Notice that I haven't actually put it into its proper position here. That's how stable it actually is. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, but this little bit here, notice how you've got a little bit of give here. You've got this screw thread here which seems to pop out a bit. I'm not sure if it's supposed to do that or not, but yeah, I'm quite happy with this. I've obviously field tested this already, and it works perfectly. It's done exactly what I've needed it to do. It's perhaps not the most rugged out there, but it's a bit more pricey than the ones I already have. It's a lot more stable than the ones I already have. It's a lot more versatile. Notice this little bit here. Oops, I'll just knock the camera while I do that. You've got this little joint here, this little ball thing here. If you do this, if you keep it held down, then it will eventually come loose like this. And the reason for that isn't so that you can go around just holding things like that, because you can if you want to. If you try holding it like this, you know, do freestyle like so, then obviously it's a bit difficult because the table's in the way, but even so you just sort of, you know, you don't quite get what you want there. Okay, it puts a lot of pressure on your wrist because of the weight of the camera after a while. But what you can do, the whole point of this really, is, let's just see if I can do this better this time around. The first time around I tried this, it was a complete unmitigated disaster. You're basically able to put it upside down, which might seem pointless, but obviously if it's giving you that option, then there's a reason for it to be there. Some people, I think, must like taking upside down shots and then correcting them in Photoshop, but yeah, you've got that particular option if you so need it. So yeah, that is the first look, as it may be, after I have unboxed and technically broke my own rules by actually field testing this stuff, but that's simply because I didn't like the original footage itself that I shot. It was crap. Whereas this stuff is quite good. Proper reviews on each individual item to come. Stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button or follow button, depending on what website you're watching this on. And I'll see you in the next time. Bye. Stop the press, stop the press. Spot the deliberate mistake, I never showed this bit in action, did I? Right, so here I have my battery grip, which I've taken off the camera while I've got it in shooting mode, because when I shoot these videos with the same camera that I usually have this attached to, I've got it basically hooked up to a power cord, which I've already reviewed separately. But as you can see, the Maniphoto design, here you have this little round thing here, which basically goes in here, like so. And because of the size of it, I think I've just knocked the camera again. But then you tighten this bit, and you can see it's all nice and tight already. Okay, obviously I've got a bit more force in my hand than what I was really expecting, but you've then got this particular little tightening device here, and once that's fully tightened, then this baby ain't going nowhere. Yeah, well, depending on how strong you are, if you've got the forearms of Arnold Schwarzenegger maybe, then that's probably going to make no difference whatsoever, but it does the trick for what it's supposed to be doing, which is basically to just keep this secure. It also comes with a little adapter, which I've thrown away because that adapter is meant for Sony cameras, which I don't have, and it's just basically a little sort of rounded bit, a little sort of oblong bit with a rounded bit on to allow for the shape of Sony's cameras. For some reason they've decided to not have their bottoms be flat like everybody else's are. Who'd have thought?